Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Erin Reese, Head of Marketing for Spins. I'm here today with David Israel, the founder and CEO of Good Planet Foods, specifically focused on the plant part of Planet. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Erin.
You too. Well, let's get started. Let's tell us about how, give us a little bit of your background and tell us how Good Planet Foods got started.
Try not to get too deep here, but I launched my food career as a founder of a company called Pop Gourmet in 2011, where I launched a unique mix of popcorn into some local grocery stores here in Seattle. And of course, I couldn't really stay put. I had to figure out how I could own that category. So when I looked at the shelf, I thought, well, yeah, I have a great product. It's better than everything else, but what's really going to drive me to the next level? And I had a conversation with my wife, and she said you should do some trending flavors. At that time it was white truffle and chocolate salted caramel. So I created these amazing white truffle. I mean, it was off the charts. I mean, it's the highest end white truffle salt and a white truffle oil, and this amazing, chocolate salted caramel popcorn. And it did start doing really well. And then someone told me that Oprah liked white truffle. So I sent some back to O Magazine, and within a few weeks, she started ordering it literally 5 cases at a time. And then a few months later, she put us in her magazine as one of her favorite things. And, the rest is history. So grew from popcorn into potato chips, expanded into condiments, then started branding partnerships with Hoi Fun and Tajín and all these great brands, eventually Hidden Valley. And, grew it from 2011 from literally started it with credit cards and funded it with credit cards to get it going. Raised capital and grew it internationally. We were in all Starbucks stores throughout the U.S. We were most Costco regions and Walmarts. And then in 2016, we had just amazing growth. It was a lot of fun. Built 4 factories because we just had to keep growing and to keep up with the demand. In 2015, I brought in some additional capital, and that particular firm had a different perspective than I did on how to do business. And it was really about degrading the product and increasing the margins. And that's not what I was about, nor that was my company about. It was all about the highest quality, the best partnerships. That wasn't their perspective. And after a year of arguing, I'd given up a lot of the control to this fund, I just decided it wasn't where I wanted to be anymore. Because I really try to approach business about relationships and partnerships and trust and transparency, period. It doesn't matter if you're the person buying it, if you work for me, if you're a Costco buyer, whoever. You want to earn that relationship and that partnership by doing what we say we're going to do and being a good partner. And again, these guys were all about the dollar and margin. So I decided I just resigned and stepped away and wanted to look. I fell in love with the better for you versus these snacks that I was creating. I really wanted to do something, because that's how I live my life. I eat very healthy. I want to do something in the better for you category. So I left in early 2017, and I started kind of looking about what I was going to do. And in mid 2017, my sister-in-law, it's my wife and my sister-in-law, they're controlling my whole life here. She said, why don't you do something in the vegan cheese category? And I was like, well, why would I do that? I mean, I don't know anything about it. I don't think I've had vegan cheese. She goes, well, listen, the products out there today, they don't perform very well. There's a lot of room for improvement, and you're innovative, and you should just take a look. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I was really focused on maybe some healthier snacks or something, more innovative. But she convinced me, and I went and tried the things in the store, and I was like, holy cow. I mean, or not cow. But it wasn't, it was just an alternative, but it really didn't give that experience that the consumer should really have, the expectations they should have. So I started looking around, and I figured out, I didn't figure out, I learned that there was a process that dairy manufacturers use to make cheese, processed cheese. And that process uses dairy oil, or it's not dairy oil, uses oils and dairy powders to make processed cheese. It's called analog. And by replacing plant-based powders and coconut oil, maybe we could achieve the same thing. And I did reach around here in the US without any luck of anybody wanting to work with me, because they're mostly dairy companies at the time. So I found a group through my sister-in-law whose friend tried something in Greece. And you know, it was weird because I found another company in Greece that called BioLife that was doing a great product, but this was another company. And I reached out to them in late 2007, well, not late, like, you know, September 2017. And I asked them if they would consider partnering with me because they made something for Orthodox Greek holidays and for Ramadan called loaf. And it was a dairy-free product that people could eat during those times. But it melted and cut really well. They told me no, they didn't trust me, they didn't know who I was. So I said, look, let me come over and meet with you. And I got on a plane and I flew over. The owners of the company picked me up at the airport, took me to afternoon drinks, then we went to dinner. And I think, you know, we're really connecting. And I'm trying to explain my approach on business like I just did to you. I'm here to build partnerships. I don't want to take advantage of anybody. I want to build relationships and work together and see everybody thrive. And it was about 3/4 of the way through dinner, the one that spoke the better English says, "You can have whatever you want." He goes, "I trust you." And it was just this moment, and we agreed that we were going to work together. So I got back on a plane. I was only there for a day and a half. I came back home and put together a plan and knew I had to raise capital because this was not going to be, especially when you're building product in Greece. I mean, I wasn't going to bring it over one block at a time. I was going to have to bring it over in a significant amount. So I had to put all the pieces together. And of course, you know, I bring on a very high level law firm. And fortunately, I've made a lot of, you know, contacts through the 5 years at POP and kept in contact. And I went to the food group at Perkins Coie and they said, well, you're not going to be able to raise any capital unless you have a contract with these guys. You're going to have to own this product. I was like, well, that's good. I've only met them once. That's going to be a tough ask, you know, because they're very skeptical. So I got on a plane and went back because it's hard to communicate even this way with a language barrier. And I sat down and I explained what I wanted to do and what my plans were and what I needed from them. And they said, okay, you know what? We'll do it. So they gave me the rights to all these products that we developed together. They wanted to retain Greece and a couple other countries that were small that they already did business in. That was fine by me. I mean, I got what my focus was going to be the US. So we put it together and then I decided, as I learned, I mean, I was vegan and I was like, oh, you know, of course I want to create a great product in the vegan category, but it started like, wow, you know what? If I had a dairy-free, that would be a broader, you know, consumer base, which I could build it more on. And then the plant-based thing started to pop up. Wasn't big, it was just starting to come on the radar. Mm-hmm. But I saw that was a great opportunity. And of course, Impossible was getting a lot of recognition and Beyond was starting to get a lot of recognition. And they were keying in on the plant-based as well. So I started looking at it and I realized who that demographic was. And from all of my mistakes at POP, or learning experiences, I learned that, you know, your brand, you can have an amazing product, right? But if the brand and the packaging doesn't connect with the consumer off that shelf, it doesn't matter what you have inside the package. So when I looked at that demographic, I learned who those buyers were going to be. And I wanted to create a brand that would connect, that we could build a story behind and live it, have a mission, because that's what this consumer is all about. They want products that were good for the planet and that were plant-based, so they have that alternatives to, if they didn't want to eat real cheese, they could eat plant-based cheese to eat better for themselves, for the planet, for animals, or for whatever their mission is, right? So as we're building this, you know, the mission is becoming more important to me. So it's really grabbing a hold of my heart, my mind, and I'm starting to say, geez, you know, because I'm learning all these facts that I just didn't know, Aaron. I mean, it wasn't on my radar. I'm like, 65 gallons of water a day, 2 acres of real estate to feed a cow every day. What? Dairy, the fumes from dairy has a worse impact on our environment than fossil fuel and car fuel, whatever it may be. It was blowing me away. So now I'm getting changed by all this, and I'm starting to, build this company, but I'm growing to be really part of it, and living this brand that we're creating. So, it was great for me because, like I said, I do want to eat. I always ate healthy, but now I'm eating healthier, not just for myself, but for our planet and our world and our community. I'm building a team to give back. So we started, like I said, we wanted to live the brand. We didn't want it to just be this fake thing that we created, like brands of old days. We wanted to be one that people, they looked at it, they go, wow, these guys are really, they're real. They're out planting trees, they're out donating food, they're working in the kitchens, they're helping the homeless, whatever it is, they're giving back to their community. That's what we want to do. So,
why don't you tell us where you guys are now? Because we were September of 2017, figuring that story probably went into the 2018. We're a couple years later now, and you guys have had more rounds of funding and new additions to your team. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I mean, like that between September 2017 and April of 2018, we're creating the brand and the products that we think will work here, and just kind of doing the best we can to dial those in as fast as we can, obviously, because we want to get to market. But things kept getting better, so it was hard to say, okay, we got to go, because we could have waited another month and had a better product. So we decided to launch in foods at the National Restaurant Association show in 2018. We got a booth, and there wasn't a lot of attention. I can remember with the Beyond Meats booth just a couple aisles away, and they were pretty busy, but it was a small booth. I think it was maybe just 5 feet wider than ours, but we were getting a little bit of attention. We were kind of tucked away because we did it last minute, but we got some sales. I mean, we started shipping in August of 2018 as an ingredient and into some food service. And then we went to Expo East and we launched our retail line, because obviously, packaging took longer. So it was easier to do food service with a label on the bag, right? And we got picked up by some significant retailers in the Northeast, Wegmans and Price Chopper, Market 32, all gave us a great opportunity. And boy, it just kind of took off. And, we were stunned. And then the plant-based movement started getting all these exposure and the accolades and, a lot of media attention. It was really fueling our fire. And we were just, we were really fortunate to kind of pick that time to jump in, right? I mean, because there were some great brands out there, but what really differentiated us was we're allergen-free, number one. So we're kosher, non-GMO certified. So we really checked all the boxes. So it could be for anybody or everybody. It could be for food service. It could be for industrial. And some major industrial players picked us up as ingredient. Food service people started coming to us. And then the momentum was growing, because now the people are becoming more aware. And they're trying our products, the buyers. And they're really not sure. They're not looking back at our banner, recognizing that we're plant-based. And they're like, oh, well, what kind of cheese is this? And we're like, no, it's plant-based cheese. And they're like, oh my God. Because we were serving it on grilled cheese and pizzas that we were making at our booth. And they were actually blown away. And it really started to make that connection with them. And that's because that's our goal. We wanted to create an experience for the everyday cheese, right? I mean, there's a lot of great cheeses out there, the Bries and things like that, that we weren't targeting. We wanted to be that everyday cheese for pizzas, for sandwiches, for tortillas, or whatever you want to do, right? Quesadillas, tacos. And that was our goal, to create that really mainstay, everyday product, and give that the person that was choosing either to be a vegan or had allergies or was dairy free or was this new movement of the flexitarian and wanted to better now and then kind of a thing, right? So when they made that choice, they weren't giving up that cheese experience to come and do that. And that's been our goal. And we haven't stopped innovating or improving our products, because the more attention that plant-based got, the more the larger companies, the ingredient companies, were providing opportunities for us to get better, colors, flavoring, starches that would help us, again, improve the texture and melt, which was what we were all about, and flavor. So we've done that. We know from the data that well, of course, with Spins that we engaged, we knew how well we were doing as such a small player and how fast we were growing. And we could use that data to help us build and target. So with that, we really had some amazing connections in retail, and the brand started to connect with everybody. So we had a really crazy first 12 months. What I did in 4 years or 3 years, I guess, at the prior company, we did in our first 12 months here. So it blew the numbers out of the water. So of course, when I decided to we raised a little bit of capital up front, friends and family kind of a thing, not a ton, but enough to make it work. And then we had some finance partners that helped us grow and finance our inventory. We raised it started unintentionally. I wasn't trying to start a raise. I was out in Chicago meeting with a fund that's involved with Beyond Meats, and we were talking about partnership on a project. And the portfolio officer of the fund said, "Hey, if you ever raise, let me know." I said, "Well, I'm working on a deck. I would love your feedback." I said, "Just let me know." So I sent it. The next thing you know, they're like, "Hey, we want to do this." So we were really fortunate to raise a significant amount of capital. We raised $12 million in May. We brought on these most amazing funds and partners. And the whole goal of these dollars and these partners was to work together, to collaborate, to create the best possible product in the cheese category. To never rest on our laurels. We want to continue to innovate and build. So the first thing of order is we have an amazing team. Our team was very small. At the beginning of 2020, it was about 7 people. We just worked our butts off. Everybody was committed and did everything to make sure that we kept up as best as we could, and we executed the best we could. And then we started adding folks, professionals. We had nobody with experience other than myself, really. We added a finance person. But then when we raised the capital, it was all about bringing on the very best team possible. I'm a road runner or a Tasmanian devil, whatever you want to call it. I can do a lot of things, but look, I can't let my ego be something that prevents me and our company and our partners from moving forward, right? So I'm all about it's not about the dollar to me. Sure, I want to win. I want to be the best company possible. I want to create the best product. And yes, I'd love Good Planet to be the Kleenex within the category. But I want to do well for my investors, for my partners, for my team members here, for our community. So, by bringing on a team that's really going to help us execute and knows how to do, I got it to where we are, but now we need that expertise to take us to that next level. And we started a search for a COO, and we were going through that search with we were working with Force Brands. I started to realize, you know what? These guys are amazing. The candidates that were coming, I was like, God, I really like these people. But I think I need someone kind of at a higher level, someone that's going to tell me what to do. I don't want to have to guess. I don't want this great person that's done all this great work. I want someone that's been there, done that, right? That took a company from 10 million to 150 million or whatever it's been. So we decided to kind of draw a line in the sand and go back, and we wanted to hire a president. And again, some amazing candidates. It was really tough. wow, it was unbelievable that people I was talking to. I had to pinch myself. On top of pinching myself off the round I just did and all these great partners that came in, all these amazing funds, I'm now talking to these people that have lived it and have this amazing experience. And, you know, when I got down to the top two, it was really very difficult. And I knew when I met the person that I hired, Bart, he was explaining who he was. And I was like, just listening to him, I'm like, okay, this is the guy. Okay. I mean, he understands what we need to do. He understands how he needs to work with me. Because again, I've been very transparent. I don't want any surprises, right? I want everybody to kind of know what it's going to look like before they get here. So the only thing that might surprise them is, what I'm eating now and then. But I don't want any surprises as personality or styles or expectations. So he had a really good feel, and he worked, he was the CEO of Siggy's. So he'd worked with a founder before who was passionate about the brand and grew, took it from the ground to where it was. And he just was, I knew he was exactly the right guy, and I could learn from him. And as we spoke, he's like, no, I've been CEO for a decade. Would you find it intimidating if I asked to be co-CEO? I'm like, no. And I said, why would I be intimidated? I mean, I could give you the title director of sales, and if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, you're the next guy. I mean, I'll have to be intimidated no matter where I put you. So I want someone that I can partner with. And we agreed that's what we were going to do. And I got to tell you, he's been here for a month. We brought on an amazing team. We brought on a EVP of sales. I got that out properly. Who's an amazing guy who came from Siggy's as well. An innovation lead, who had time at Kraft Cheese, like a decade, then Siggy's, and he's done some other things in the plant-based. So we can really start to, and now we have a branding manager who's amazing, who spent a decade at Siggy's as well. So these people, he knows how to work with these people. I'm going to learn how to work with these people, and we're going to build this great team on top of the people that I already had to really work together to win this category and build. So I'm going to learn from them. They're going to learn from me, and I can focus on the innovation, the international business, our continued partnerships, and I can let him do what he knows how to do. So we can all thrive and execute the way we need to. Execute with excellence is what I hear now, and that's what we need to do. So we've really come a long way, Aaron. I am amazed. I'm honored. It's incredible where we are today in such a short, little over 2 years. Really is mind blowing. And I'm very fortunate to be in this situation. So I have a lot to be thankful for.
It's exciting. I could listen to you for hours, and now everything that you've done and you've learned, and where you guys are poised to go. To that end, is there anything that you can share with us about where you're headed as far as you're expanding out of cheese? Are you making new products within? Anything you could share on that front?
Well, sure. I mean, I learned from Pop. I mean, I grew that into. We were doing condiments at one point and croutons. I mean, I just couldn't stop. I can do that, not a problem. This is such a big market. I've really forced myself to stay focused because there's a lot we can do with what we have. And again, having this new innovation lead come on board, I was leading innovation. I'm telling my partners, I needed a little more melty. Oh, I need a little better flavor. Oh, the color could be a little more orangey or whatever. That's not leading innovation. I mean, my partners did an amazing job with whatever I was telling them, and they speak Greek, so it worked, right? But to have someone that can get in the kitchen, so to speak, and say, you know what, you need to tweak this a bit, or this is a better way to do it, or maybe this process will help us get here, but here's our goal. Our goal is to get as close as we can, not just in experience, but in process of real cheese. Keeping it allergen-free and focusing on the plant-based. But look, there's a lot of companies coming to the party, and we're here. We don't need to stay focused strictly on what we've created. We want to be that next gen company. So that's our goal. I'm trying not to go wide. Trust me, I've already had it happen once, and I pulled the plug. I mean, I was about to launch a partnership with Beyond Meat and our cheese on a pizza at Expo West. Expo West didn't happen. I learned that I probably shouldn't be trying to now have a frozen division. So we'll just partner with other companies. We'll stay focused where we need to. We'll give them the best, plant-based cheese product that they can. So for now, that's what our focus is, and we really want to own the category and be the best that we can be. And we want Good Planet to be a household.
That's awesome. Well, this has been a terrific conversation. I love to wrap up with one question of kind of paying it forward. So is there you've certainly shared a lot with us already, but anything in particular that stands out from all of your experience that you wish you knew then what you know now that others could learn from?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say two things. One is don't stop. Don't give up. If it's real, unless it's really clear that something won't work and you believe in it, don't give up. Because if it was that easy, everybody would be an entrepreneur. They're not. So you just have to, no is just a word. Why not is better. So the other thing is, I think really that I've learned over and over is that doing the right thing pays dividends over and over. For your customers, for your partners, for your communities, that's what it's all about. And when we do the right thing by our partners, and I'll give like a large grocery chain where you mess up, but you own it out of the gate, it sends a message to them. It's trust, right? And that's the hardest thing to earn. But when you earn it, it pays dividends, leaps and bounds. And when you have a problem, it's easier to forgive you because they know that you're there, you've been a great partner. So really work on building trust within everybody and do the right thing.
So thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. This was a wonderful experience, and exciting to see what you guys have done so quickly, and can't wait to see what comes next.
Well, me too. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate it.